Everybody can see the number. There it is.
Happy
Like,
New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Hi.
Hey,
That's what Sherry.
Well, they might not see us, but they're looking at right.
Well, they're muted.
they're muted too, so.
Is Ernie here too? What do I have? How do I
Yeah,
respond?
so-
Yeah, yes, he is.
Okay.
Hey, Cher.
Doesn't work.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm looking at it.
Hi,
Hi.
Laura. Andrea. Hi. Robin.
How you doing, Sean?
They haven't had my picture.
Sit down
Polite. Six.
Oh, no, I don't.
They said they see what people were on, but I can't see that.
How many participants does
I
it?
can go on the side.
This lady Susan probably forgot to check.
Shana Tova.
Look,
150.
wow.
Where's this? Is the sound coming out of the TV?
Shana Tova, Jeff and Sandy.
Shana Tova. Jerry, how's it going?
Okay.
Why is
Good
you
playing last night.
He's not there.
Thank you.
all my friends.
Hi, Drew.
Usually,
Hi.
it's not configured for that.
Shana Tova. I only.
Now they got them.
Make it a lot louder.
Can't you find her?
There we go.
Before,
Arlene's muted.
Yeah.
I don't see Sherry anymore either. Oh, that's Ken McGraw.
Are we muted or not yet?
We're not.
Shana Tova.
No, we're not. Yeah,
Funny
no.
how we can see sometimes that thing with
Hi,
the,
Lori and Seth.
but sometimes we can't. Yeah, yeah.
Morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Sherry.
Tova will be starting in just a few moments.
If you talk.
Andrea.
I did talk.
Morning,
That's Sherry.
Your pictures.
Need any help with that?
Okay.
Say hi.
There you
Hey,
are.
Sherry, where are you? Cher?
I'm up on, I'm here. I don't know where I
I
am.
don't see you. I don't see you anymore.
I don't know where I am.
You're on another
You
page.
can see me either.
I
Good
can
morning,
see
Lori
you.
and Seth.
I
How
can
you
hear
doing?
you.
Coming down.
Light up when I'm
Hi.
online when I'm talking.
Hi.
Hey there.
Morning, everyone. Happy
On
New
my
Year.
screen, I'm on the
New Year.
top.
Is this going to go to the service?
Start video. There we are.
Oh, okay.
Shana Tova, Ernie.
Working.
Shana Tova.
Shnatova.
Hello.
Ernie. Cheryl,
What?
I think of you every time we do Hamotzi.
Hi, Neil.
What'd she say?
Hey, Ernie and Sue.
Yeah.
Shana Tova, Neil.
Yeah, I missed that.
I miss being there.
It's all.
Just sitting next to you.
Who am I gonna sit in behind?
You know, at my son's temple, that they do it like the way we used to do it.
Was that assigned seats?
We never had a sign.
No.
We never,
No, we
we,
never had assigned
we just
seats.
took the same seats.
Right, yeah.
Every Friday night.
Row
We all
three.
knew who
Working, it
sat
wasn't
where.
We had private seats.
Is this going to
Start
go to
video.
the service?
See my mother.
I don't see the
Or they automatically
YouTube.
Oh, Stuart turned into a wall.
mute you on that, yeah.
Ernie and Sue.
That activity.
Oh, look at her.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Hi, Donna. Hello, Donna.
Who's Donna? Donna?
No, it's like a
Hi.
Frankly, good enough.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Like, remember
Yeah.
So
Yeah, neither do I.
see anything. There's
Shana Tova, everyone.
Donna
Good to see Sandy.
I don't see. I've got,
Hello, I'm just looking at who's on here. Wow. A lot of
Dan
names.
Bird.
Bernice. Bernice
Hey.
Linda. How are you?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
And seeing them.
Hello, Lyndon, Bill. How you doing?
How are you?
How are you doing, Dan?
Happy New Year, Ken.
How are you?
I'll do that.
Happy New Year, Danny.
Same to you and Leona, wherever she might be.
Happy New Year.
Joining us shortly.
There's
We're gonna
Ken.
watch on the big screen behind me.
That's
Hey,
what I'm
Dan.
gonna do as well. I just gotta figure
No,
out
she
where to
did.
find the channel.
Dan, you get the link I sent you?
I got an email. I didn't look at it yet.
Okay.
Check it out after
Answered your question.
between services. Thanks.
Yeah, just turn the sound because they don't match.
It's also on, yeah, the TV's a little, the streaming's a little slower. on the
Robin, your dog is so cute.
Happy New Year, Judson.
Rabbi in blue.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And
Is
That
it-
dog is so cute.
Rabbi just posted a YouTube link.
Well, we're
That's
gonna
how
do
to go on YouTube. if you-
I was trying to go to my YouTube channel on the TV. I don't see it.
YouTube is delayed about a minute or something like
Yeah,
that.
usually.
Yeah.
You can do either.
And you switch
You
to.
can do it on YouTube or on the.
My wife's trying to
On the
do the
TV,
technical.
you
I
have to
just
open
know
an
that.
app.
What ball game
was on, Dan?
You do it on YouTube.
Morning, Talia.
Certain. Yeah.
Keep joining.
Yeah, people.
Let's see. Should I
Robin,
start?
we love your dog.
Scotia? You can if you want.
How sweet.
I know, we need another dog.
And Greenberg, you want to do it or not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you
Just look at the things.
come on.
Donatova Hagit.
Hi, Mark.
Donatova, Todd Waddell.
And
Ellen,
even if
can you hear me?
That was the case.
Bob
John
Agron? Yes, give me a thumbs up, Ellen.
let an
Good
email.
job.
Cats.
Okay.
You don't have to be on YouTube and
Hello, Andy.
one or the other.
No, super,
She said
super.
hello from a voice.
No,
I mean, I
We'll
don't
see you
think
guys
you're right.
later.
No, but
See you later today.
Yeah.
You're
See you later.
he has a point.
Yes.
super, no, right.
Bill, I see Eileen.
Oh, look at that. Done.
Shana Tova, Jill Jacqueline.
Whoops.
Where's Joe? I don't see Joe.
I see Jill.
We're starting.
Hi, Jill.
They don't mute everybody. When it starts.
Hi.
Rabbi, where's
Rabbi, you're set to spotlight.
Rabbi Dennis?
Yes, I see that.
The folks can get YouTube on their TV.
I think
Yes.
it's a green screen.
I know.
Oh, that's it?
Can hear 'em.
Now I can.
Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom, and good morning, Boker Tov. We know that we have friends who are still coming on the Zoom and getting set up on YouTube, but we're going to get started this morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you into this sacred space that we have created on Zoom and on YouTube. While we are disappointed not to see one another in person and sit together in our sanctuary, this year we've been able to cast our virtual doors wide open. This morning, we are joined by past, present, and future members of Congregation Beth Chaim. We are also delighted to share our High Holy Days with the Jewish Temple Association of Jackson, New Jersey, and with students of the Lawrenceville School. It is incredible to think that synagogues across the globe are gathering in this unique way at this new year, and I feel blessed that you have chosen to pray with us today. Thank you for both your trust and your patience. Please know that to avoid Zoom fatigue, we have split this morning's service into two parts. The first hour is dedicated to the Shema and her blessings and the Amidah or standing prayer. And the second hour focuses on the Torah and Haftarah portions, but will also include the Great Aleinu and Mourner's Kaddish. I hope that you will join us for both segments of our service this morning while enjoying a short intermission in the middle to stretch your legs and what I like to call a bio break. If at any time you encounter technical difficulties, we're going to post our technology support number in the chat box, and you can refer to that so that a member of our team will be able to assist you. Also know that if you are struggling with Zoom, you can always go to youtube.com/Beth Chaim channel to view the live stream. That's Beth Chaim channel, no spaces. All of the words of our service will be projected on the screen. However, if you purchased a prayer book to help you follow along at home, simply refer to the page number on the bottom right corner of your screen. For our friends on Zoom, feel free to type in the chat box throughout the service. For our friends on YouTube, you can leave comments. We simply ask that everyone maintain the sanctity of this day and this community. Now we turn to the prayer Matovu, which remarks at the beauty of Israel's tents, the temporary and portable dwellings of our ancestors before they had a fixed home.
משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך, אשתחווה אל היכל קודשך ביראתך, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, אדוני מעון ביתך ומקום משכן כבודך, משכן כבודך, ואני אשתחווה ואכרע אברך לפני אדוני ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, ואני תפילתי לך, אדוני את רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, משכנותיך ישראל.
Hello to all of you on Zoom and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining our virtual High Holy Days services. It's nice to see you and your family and friends. We were very excited to make our services available to everyone this year. And obviously, we've never done this before. So I just want to thank our clergy and staff and all the lay leaders for their hard work to make this happen. My name is Rhonda Wydra. I am very proud to be the president of Beth Chaim, which has been my spiritual home for more than 20 years. This past year has been a momentous one, and I'm not just talking about the impact from COVID-19 and our need to embrace online Judaism. I want to spend a moment to reflect on some of the significant events that occurred in the past year for our community. Rabbi Blum officially became our new senior rabbi in July, and her leadership and dedication to this community is already inspiring. We hired a new executive director, Mira Brzozowski, who has helped us manage through some difficult months. We held preschool this summer, adhering to new, very strict COVID-19 protocols issued by the state. Our children were safe, they were happy. Preschool is continuing this fall, and religious school is a hybrid model with both virtual and in-person learning opportunities, with parents choosing what works best for their families. One thing we learned a lot over the past few years was that congregants want Beth Chaim to serve as a center for the Jewish community. In fact, one phrase we've heard a lot is, we want to redefine our community. We are already on the path to doing that. Some of you have told us you wanted more opportunities to make connections. We established our Gateways Initiative, which provides support to congregants in need. Parents are participating in conversations to reimagine both our preschool and religious school programs. Congregants formed a racial justice task force just a few months ago, and already many amazing programs have occurred. All of our committees continue to work actively to strengthen the Beth Chaim community. Over the past year, congregants who have never before participated in activities are getting involved. Other congregants who stepped away from involvement are now rejoining and have stepped back in. All of this during a pandemic that has kept our physical doors closed. I want to take a moment just to thank you for your understanding and support over these last few months. I applaud you for learning how to Zoom, and I also applaud you for changing the way you've celebrated holidays and your own simchas, joyful occasions. I know it's been hard. These are very uncertain times, but you have your Beth Chaim family to lean on. Rabbi Hillel said, "Do not separate yourself from the community." This is the year to stay committed to our community. Remember that we are a congregation, whether or not we congregate in a building. Beth Chaim is not a building. It is a community. It's an expression of our collective values we share together, even when we are physically apart. We have been taking slow and deliberate steps toward reopening. So far, that's gone well, and we look forward to the time when we are fully reopened. I don't know when that will be, but we will continue to provide updates on the next steps in our weekly email blasts and on our website. So let's turn now to 5781 and all the opportunities for Beth Chaim. We have lots to look forward to, including Rabbi Blum's formal installation this spring and the return of our weekly adult education classes in just a few days. We've asked Rabbi Wisnia to leave retirement for a bit and teach a class this winter. And we'll continue to work toward achieving the goals set by your temple leadership based on conversations with lay leaders and congregants. We value your thoughts and ideas, and we encourage you to keep the dialogue open. So here are some of our goals. We want members to feel valued. We want to create an environment where you feel it's important to stay connected to our community and your Judaism. We want an environment of inclusivity for all members. We want our children to remain engaged and continue learning and living Jewishly long after their B'nai Mitzvah. We are not the same synagogue we were 5 or 10 or 20 years ago, let alone 6 months ago, and we want to challenge ourselves to consider new ideas and to make changes for the better. We also want to create a culture of philanthropy, and we hope you extend your generosity. COVID-19 has presented significant financial challenges for nonprofit organizations, including Beth Chaim. I thank you for supporting our community, especially at this critical juncture. We want Beth Chaim to thrive, and we want it to be around for the generations that follow our own. During these days of awe and reflection, I hope you will find quiet moments to reset and recharge after these last few challenging months. I hope you will happily anticipate the year ahead at Beth Chaim. I hope you will reflect on how Beth Chaim has brought meaning to your life and helped sustain you for another year. On this Rosh Hashanah, I wish you and your family health, happiness, and much sweetness in our new year. I hope to see you soon in person. Shana Tova.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. אמן. בעלמא. בעלמא. בעלמא דברך ירותה וימליך מלכותה בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמד קודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ועלמה ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
I am the blossom, pressed in a book, found again after 200 years. I am the maker, the lover, and the keeper. When the young girl who starves sits down to a table, she will sit beside me. I am the food on the prisoner's plate. I am water rushing to the wellhead, filling the pitcher until it spills. I am the patient gardener of the dry and weedy garden. I am the stone step, the latch, and the working hinge. I am the heart contracted by joy, the longest hair, white before the rest. I am there in the basket of fruit presented to the widow. I am the musk rose opening unattended, the fern on the boggy summit. I am the one whose love overcomes you, already with you when you think to call my name. All life springs from a single fountainhead. Listen, Israel, know the oneness at the heart of multiplicity. With love and reverence, bear witness to Makor HaChaim.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Remember the stories of slavery, and you will never stop working for freedom. Remember their fear at the edge of the sea, and self-doubt will never defeat you. Remember when desperation turned to celebration, and you will never let go of hope. Remember the words of the Baal Shem Tov, forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלך. שיר החדש שיבחו גאולים, לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים לחיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע. מי כמוך אל הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
Our actions help us live in such a way that when we suffer life's darkest depredations, we will always have ways of coping with them. Our actions may not change the ultimate outcome one iota, but they alter our attitude, bolster our ability to withstand challenges, help us handle unavoidable misfortunes better, and see life's value amid chaos and dismay.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום. ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום. כי הוא נורא והיום, ובוא תינשא. מלכותך ביכון בחסד כיסך ותשב עליו אמת. ביכון בחסד תשכחות ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות. ומאליו יקרא, ומאליו יקרא, וחותם יד כל אדם בו, ובשופר גדול ייתקע, וכל דממה דקה יישמע. ומלאכים יחפזון, וחילול הדם יאחזון. לבכות על צבא מרום בדין, לבכות על צבא מרום בדין. בדין, כי לא יזכו, לא יזכו בניך בדין, כי לא יזכו, לא יזכו בניך בדין. וכל באי עולם תבהיר, תבהיר לפניך, כי בני מרון, כבקרת רועה רועה דרו, אוויר צאנו תחת שבטו, כבקרת רועה רועה דרו, אוויר צאנו תחת שבטו. כן תבהיר ותזכור תמנה, ותבכות נפש כל ותקע קצבה לכל בריאה, ותכתוב את גזר דינם.
Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. And for your throne is a throne of love, Your reign is a reign of truth. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten, and when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself, for every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah! A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, Behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments.
בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור וביום צום כיפור ייחתמון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור וביום צום כיפור ייחתמון.
On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world, and how many will be born into it? Who will live, and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire, and who by water? Who by war, and who by beast? Who by famine, and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree.
ותשובה ותפילה וצדקה מעבירין את רע הגזרה.
We read responsively. Holy is the dignity that is human, sacred the mystery we call divine. Holy is the sacrifice made for those we love, precious the pains they take for us. Sublime the glory of the heavens above us, sacred the beauty that glows within us. Noble is the mind in search of meaning, the heart is happy that finds its way. Awesome is the power that rules our being, holy the kinship that makes us one.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין אלוה מבלעדיך ככתוב. ויקבע אדוני צבאות במשפט, והאל הקדוש נקדש בצדקה. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש. Amen.
In your love, eternal God, you have given us this Shabbat and this day of remembrance, a day for the shofar's joyful sound, remembered and cherished in our hearts, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Our God and God of the generations before us, May a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness. Together with the memory of our ancestors and the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of remembrance.
זוכרנו אדוני אלוהינו בו לטובה.
אמן.
ופוקדנו בו לברכה.
אמן.
והושיענו בו לחיים.
Amen. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Modim anachnu lach. We are grateful to you, you, the source of all blessing. And it has become our custom here at Congregation Beth Chaim to share out loud with our community all the blessings in our lives. And so I invite you to turn to the people you may be sitting with, to text friends or family, or to write in the chat box all the blessings that you would like to thank God for this Rosh Hashanah, at this new year.
מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. ברכנו אבינו כולנו כאחד באור פניך. שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך, בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. ניזכר ונכתב לפניך, אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל, לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום. שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה.
We now take a few moments for silent reflection. I invite you to focus on your breath, to offer the prayers of your heart, or to reflect on the meditation on your screen. And after our few moments of silence, we'll come back together in prayer.
רצון אמרה פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי
Tekiah! The shofar sounds a clarion call, shaking us from our routine, waking us from our complacency, imploring us to look within. I heard the shofar blast in a different way 5 Rosh Hashanahs ago. It was a Jewish New Year after racial unrest in Ferguson, Missouri, and New York City, as a young white man shot black churchgoers in Charleston, South Carolina. In the months leading up to 5776, I grappled with my own privilege as a white person in this country. How I walk through the world with more advantages and fewer burdens on my shoulders than my neighbors of color. Both the shofar blast and the news startled me, challenging me to notice racism in America. Then the news cycle shifted, Jewish calendar moved on, and the Black Lives Matter movement faded into the background for me and many others. My priorities changed, especially as I deepened my rabbinate and started a family. I remained aware of racism, but did little to address it. Shivarim! I got an even bigger wake-up call this past May. The whole world watched as George Floyd's life was snuffed out over the course of 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The combination of COVID-19 and ongoing racial injustice erupted into protests across the country and close to home. In June, I was devastated to learn about the racism at my high school alma mater, the Lawrenceville School. It was there that I forged deep friendships with people of all backgrounds, religious, racial, and economic. I made the mistake of assuming that my sense of belonging and connection at Lawrenceville reflected most students' experiences. My heart sank as I read Instagram posts by alumni of color, including very recent graduates, who endured the racism of classmates, teachers, and even the administration. Racism that revealed itself in words of hate, acts of violence, and regular shows of discrimination. I wrestled with the fact that one of my happy places, what had once been my safe space, was far from safe for students of color. Teruah! Like the shofar blast, which touches my heart and soul, the racial unrest of the past 4 months has shaken me to my core. The week after George Floyd's murder, I started to read. I wanted to understand how, in the year 2020, we are still using racial slurs, still imprisoning people of color in disproportionate numbers, and still relegating people of color to neighborhoods with less access to education and upward mobility. I started with the book White Fragility, written by the white author Robin DiAngelo for white readers. I learned how much I have taken for granted as a white person, how I have expected people of color to teach me about the racism established by white people in power, how I have likely said or done hurtful things to people of color because I was raised within the framework of institutionalized racism. I heard how that oft-repeated, well-intentioned claim, "I don't see color," sounds, and rightly so, like "I don't see you." It has been difficult for me to look in the mirror at my own prejudices and missteps. But this is the challenging work of the Jewish New Year. Our tradition instructs us to engage in cheshbon hanefesh, take an accounting of the soul. And that requires us to take a long, hard look at our thoughts and actions. Therefore, I am grateful for the language that White Fragility has given me to understand from whence I came and chart a new course going forward. Tekiah! Next, I turn to Ibram X. Kendi's book, Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. It revealed to me, with heartbreaking clarity, that the land of the free was founded on explicitly racist principles. The evidence is right in our foundational documents, including the United States Constitution, which reads, "Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons." I am struggling with this familiar text, lauded as a blueprint for freedom and democracy across the globe. I am recognizing for the first time how it labels indigenous peoples as wholly other and counts Black people as less than whole. As a Reformed Jew, I was raised on the social justice messages of the prophets of the Bible. Every Yom Kippur, I heard the words of Isaiah describe the true fast God desires of us: to break the bonds of injustice and remove the heavy yoke, to let the oppressed go free and release all those enslaved, to share your bread with the hungry, and to take the homeless poor into your home. In Torah study, we learned from the story of Cain and Abel that we are our brothers and sisters' keepers, obligating us to care for our fellow human beings, irrespective of the color of their skin. I was taught the most repeated commandment in the Torah is to love the stranger as yourself, for we were strangers in the land of Egypt. Our people was once enslaved, and we recite that narrative every Passover to remind us of our obligation to prevent the subjugation and oppression of all other peoples. When each of us stood at the foot of Mount Sinai and received Torah, we agreed to do and to understand God's teachings, including justice, justice, you shall pursue, and do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. As a Reformed Jew, I was educated to strive for tikkun olam, repair of the world that I have learned is so very broken. All that I have learned in the last few months has led me to the conclusion that we need to make meaningful change now. Shivarim! At the same time that I was wondering what I could do to make this change, Beth Chaim congregants were asking me the same question. Quickly, it became clear that members of our community needed to talk about this and take action. Hence, the Racial Justice Task Force was born. In its early stages, I thought we might put a few programs on the calendar or lead a book club on the topic of racial justice. However, this dedicated group of lay people has created a dynamic vision for what our work as a congregation could be. One member articulated our mission: to position Beth Chaim as an explicitly anti-racist institution. Another spoke of working with our elected officials to overturn racist policies and legislation. And our chairperson, Carly Siditsky, has led us toward a multi-pronged approach to racial justice. We, on behalf of Congregation Beth Chaim, are committed to building racial equity through reflection, education, and action, and the work begins today. Today is the first day of a new Jewish year, and the first of the Hebrew month of Tishrei. Every year, we create New Year's resolutions to improve ourselves. We apologize for missing the mark in the past year, and we vow to do better in the months to come. This year, 5781, the Racial Justice Task Force of Beth Chaim invites you to join them in a 23-day racial justice habit-building challenge. This initiative is based on the work of Dr. Eddie Moore Jr., who crafted a 21-day challenge. We have simply expanded the project to align with the Jewish calendar to begin on Rosh Hashanah and conclude on Simchat Torah, the festival celebrating our sacred teaching and obligations. Over the next 23 days, which is a significant period for Jews all around the world, we challenge ourselves to take at least one daily action to further our understanding of power, privilege, supremacy, oppression, and equity. We are asking for a daily commitment of no more than 15 minutes to read, watch, listen, create, or volunteer. You will receive all the details of this initiative in your email in the coming days, and you can see them on our Temple Facebook page as well. While this challenge is a personal undertaking, we have punctuated the 23 days with communal conversation moments. Join us this coming Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for a discussion on what is racism exactly. And on Yom Kippur afternoon, you can join our study session on slavery and its atonement, the Jewish obligation to confront slavery's legacy. Our prayer is that by Simchat Torah, we will have a cadre of congregants who have worked to create racial justice habits that inspire them to move this work forward. Teruah! The task force sees racial justice as a historical, spiritual, and moral imperative. However, we recognize the complexity of this subject. We are embarking on difficult conversations. If anything I have said today has upset you, I implore you to connect with me. Let's make a date on the phone or on Zoom or get together in person for a socially distant chat. I am wrestling with issues of racial justice, and I want to wrestle with them with you. For example, I am struggling with what is now called cancel culture, which includes taking down statues. Also, I feel strongly about partnering with law enforcement as we seek to create meaningful change within our justice system. That is why I'm proud to announce that West Windsor Police Chief Rob Garofalo and Lieutenant Mark Lee will read a prayer for our country at our Torah service in just a few minutes. Furthermore, we need to have an open discussion about anti-Semitism within the Black community. Only if we engage in meaningful dialogue with our neighbors of color will we be able to eradicate hate and prejudice of all kinds. As we will hear from the prophet Isaiah in 10 days' time, cry from the depth, says God. Do not hold back. Lift up your voice like the shofar. join me in giving voice to the racial injustice and inequities in our nation and our own struggles in disrupting the status quo. Every voice matters, and we want to hear yours. I will conclude with the words of Lao Tzu, an ancient Chinese philosopher and reputed founder of Taoism. While Tzu comes from a different spiritual tradition than we do, I find inspiration in his teaching as we embark on this new year, 5781, and on our 23-day Racial Justice Habit Building Challenge. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habit. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Tekiya Gedolah.
Loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable, Avinu Malkeinu, compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery.
Avinu Malkeinu, our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far. Avinu Malkeinu, embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end. Avinu Malkeinu, none of these are true. None of them are you. Yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. Avinu Malkeinu, may these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, ve'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever, V'cherev v'rav, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Chotzar, Umasti, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kodveinu b'sefer Chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Kadesh Aleinu, Kadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vaneinu, אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד עשה עמנו צדקה וחסד והושיענו.
We'll now hear from our board member, Robin Valentine.
Hello, my name is Robin Valentine, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of Congregation Beth Chaim, thank you for being with us today. Watch your email and Facebook for our 23-day Racial Justice Habit Building Challenge starting tonight. We will now take a brief break for a few minutes to stretch before we begin the Torah service at 11:30. Please feel free to stay and socialize. Visit our website, bethchaim.org, to contribute to our High Holiday Appeal. We would like to wish you and yours a very happy, healthy New Year. Shana Tova.
So don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to conclude this segment of our service with our shofar blowing. So this is just a taste of what's to come. The full shofar service will be tomorrow afternoon at our live locations. But right now we wanted to just give you a little teaser to get you excited for tomorrow afternoon.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Tekiah. Shivarim. Trua. Tekiah Gedolah.
We'll see you all in just a few minutes. At 11:30, we begin our Torah service.